Good afternoon. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. How are you guys doing? How did you do last night? Were you early to bed, early to rise? Or did you ring in the new year? I was early to bed. I didn't even change it up. I went to bed as normal, turned on my rain, listened to the fireworks in the far off distance, and just went to sleep just like any other day because I knew how excited I was to get started today in my new Bible study and all the things, I've shared with you guys about setting up my cart and setting up my bag and getting out my journals. So I wanted to do a video to check in because I just want to let you know in all transparency how deflated I was this morning in my quiet time. I kid you not. And I'm just going to break it down for you. So if you're new here, welcome to 2025 and welcome to my channel. I am so happy that you're here. I love sharing all things about Jesus, all about studying the Bible, all about reading your Bible and all the things in between. I just love to get on here and share my nuggets, pros and cons. There's a lot more imperfections on my channel than you may find on others. But I wanted to share this morning my deflation of my quiet time. And I've had enough time to, I guess as the day has unfolded, to just kind of give myself some grace and understand what happened and know where I'm coming from, because I know myself. And so it's just a day to process. But I wanted to share with you what happened. So I got up 4:10 this morning, my usual time that I just pop open my eyes and I'm ready to get my day going. Talk to God before I get out of bed and thank Him for waking me up and letting me be able to get up to go to the bathroom and make my coffee and do all the things that I'm normally talking to Him in my head before I even get started. And so I had set up my Bible reading stuff next to my desk. Usually I'll sit out in my chair or in the beanbag or something, but I'm thinking, my new study is an inductive study, so I need to have my place to spread my stuff out so I can have my workbook and my Bible and like this and my that and have everything to do. Now, this particular study, if you are new here, I'm doing the Christ in All Scripture by Daily Grace Co. This is a new study setup for them. So usually when you use a Bible study from Daily Grace Co., it's like a theme-based or a topic-based, or you can do a read through the year plan, and it comes with a workbook. It has a podcast, and there's just a lot of information. And so I was so excited. I read through the prep week because the first week of this study is a prep week, and it kind of introduces you to inductive study, which I'm very new at, and I'm really intimidated by it, because I'm a note taker. I like to read, highlight, underline everything and take notes on the inside of my Bible. That's usually how I study, because hearing it and writing it out really helps me to take it in and retain it. So anyway, I knew this study was going to be a little different. So I wanted to set up different so that my brain wouldn't kind of fall into that same routine. However, so I got up, did my little devotion. I'm also doing a daily reader. So that was my saving grace this morning. I kid you not, is my daily reader that reads the Old Testament, New Testament, Psalms, and a proverb. If I hadn't had that, I probably would still be sitting here with a blank stare on my face. So here's what happened. Shall I continue? So I got out my little devotion. I'm finishing up my New Morning Mercy devotion. I'm just going to show y'all. I know y'all probably are getting sick of me showing it, but this is a new year. So anyway, there's a lot of new people. So this is my devotional that I'm finishing. I started it last April or the year before. But anyway, I've been working on it the rest of the year. So I only have from January to April to finish. So I read this first, kind of just to get my brain open and get it moving. My sister gave me a little gratitude journal. It takes 2 minutes to read. So I was reading that. And then my daily reader. So my daily reader is the CSB, Every Day with Jesus. And it just kind of walked me through, some Genesis, some Matthew, a Psalm, and a proverb. And so I kind of felt, okay, I've got the juices flowing now. let's get into the study. So I grabbed my phone because I want to find the podcast because there's a podcast with it. I could not find it anywhere. I had looked last night because I wanted to have it already set up, but it wasn't. I didn't find it on my Bible app. I didn't find it on my Apple Podcast, and I had not downloaded Spotify. It's in the cloud. I downloaded it this morning because I've had it before. I try to minimize what's on my home screen when I don't use it all the time. So I had deleted it off my home screen. So anyway, I was looking through the Apple Podcast. I'm like, oh my gosh, where's my podcast? So anyway, that was a first because, I've been studying for the past 366 days of last year. I think we were 366. I think last year was a leap year. But I was studying with a podcast, with a workbook, with my Bible opened in my lap, and my usual comfort stuff. So this morning, number one, I couldn't find my podcast. And I'm like, okay, well, And I've also joined a group that somebody had put on for those of us who are going through this study to kind of help gather us together for helping us with questions. So I'm like, okay, well, going against the grain because you usually don't open social media right away on my phone, but I went to the Facebook group to see if anybody had posted the link to the podcast, and nobody had. So I asked a question. I'm like, has anybody found the podcast? And someone had posted that it was on Spotify. So then I had to go to the cloud, download it from the cloud, try to remember my passcode. So anyway, it was just this feeling that I had. I felt like I was out of control. And so then I'm like, okay, well, I downloaded the podcast and I listened to it. And I'm like, this is nothing like the podcast I listened to for the last year. It was just kind of like an introduction podcast or whatever. And knowing first week of this is a prep week, it kind of tells you about the meta narrative, and it tells you about what annotation is and kind of how you're going to underline and circle, then gives you some of God's attributes and just kind of some basic information to get you ready for the study for the first 3 days. And so that way we're actually going to start week 2 on a Monday, which is fine with me because I'm a Monday starter. I love to start things on Monday, and which is a whole nother issue, being the first starting on a Wednesday. It's just like, how do people start in the middle of a week anything without feeling discombobulated? So with that being said, I flipped back through the whole prep days this morning going, okay, well, I still don't even understand what this study is even about. And in this study, the things that we're going to annotate, or I don't know, that word's is so big to me, is in the workbook. So then I started thinking, I just got a new Bible for this study. I've dedicated my new Bible to this study so that I can be annotating and highlighting and writing and doing all my and note taking and stuff. And it looks like most of the things that we're going to be doing and underlining and is in this workbook. So I'm like, do I even need my Bible? You guys, I do not like that feeling. I felt like all my planning and how excited I was to start today, I kind of felt like I had not planned at all. I literally was like, so I don't need my Bible. I have the workbook. It has the verse in it. It's space, so we're going to underline it. It has, so everything I need is in the Bible or in the workbook. So what am I going to do in my Bible? So y'all, I was feeling it this morning. And then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to write. I didn't even get to my prayer journaling, my YouVersion app that I usually get on, and I'll write out my stuff, because once I'm done with my study, I go to the YouVersion app because the Daily Grace had a plan in there that I followed along with my plan last year, but there's not one in there this year. So when I pulled it up and I didn't see it and I couldn't find it, it threw me off altogether as far as putting my notes in my little notebook, that I'm writing in. So I just sat in here for almost 2 hours, and my husband's coming, he goes, what are you still doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like, did I do my quiet time? Was I in my quiet time this morning? Lord, was I here? Was I attentive? Because I totally felt deflated and if I'm honest, out of like a little bit of out of control. That could be my personality, because I do better scheduled, routined. I can go off the fly, but it's not my best. I don't feel like I retain or get or perform at my best that way. And so this morning I just really felt like, wow, what a stumbling into the first quiet time of the year. And I wanted to share that with you. I don't know if anybody else felt that this morning, or did you just continue on with your usual routine and just kind of, it flowed well for you? I'm all about change. I love change. I love to change things up so I don't get bored. And I always expect a little bumpy road in the middle, but for some reason, I thought I was nailing it. I thought I had everything set up. I've had my card. Went through all my markers yesterday, all my pens, got everything out with the old, in with the new, the things that were starting to wear out. I just went ahead and got rid of them. And I'm just like, everything's fresh and ready. I'm just going to have my quiet time and just get into the study. And I didn't. I just literally... And I found myself sitting at my desk, and I was listening to the podcast, and I was literally just staring at my calendar in front of me, like, what? I'm not getting this. I'm not understanding. What is she saying? And plus, it's a different narrator. For a whole year, I've listened to Tiffany, and y'all have heard me mention her in my video, and now I have 2 new girls, and so the voices were different. Y'all. It was just funny this morning. So anyway, I thought I would share that with you. I thought I would share my vulnerability to you of how I don't always have it together. I stumble around. I laugh at myself after I've taken a step back and go, okay, what can we do better tomorrow? So now the little group that I'm in is actually the admin is going to do a video this afternoon at 4 to help us who had this rocky start this morning, because I wasn't the only one. We were like, where's the podcast? And a lot of us have not done this before. So she's going to go in and do like a little, what would it be? An example setup or whatever, because she's done this. This is the way she's studied for a while. So anyway, I'm excited about that. So always a student. I am always a student. So I just wanted to share that, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day today. I'm fixing to watch some football, and just know that even though we stumble a little bit, tomorrow's a new day. There's new morning mercies every day. So tomorrow when we wake up, even if today was kind of it's never really a bust. I felt like it was a bust. I'm not going to lie. I felt like I just was like numb for like 2 hours. Like, I'm not even taking it in. I haven't really written in my prayer journal. I haven't really told God how confused I am, because I just didn't even know how confused I was until after. But now I feel much better. I watched a video on inductive Bible study, which I should have done, but I didn't, because I was thinking, oh, this will be easy because I can pick that up. Oh gosh, I'm just so intimidated by it. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys, because you know how I do. Get these little things that pop in my head and just want to get out there and share it with you, so that you may feel that you're not alone, and that I can feel that I'm not alone. Because it was like, whoa, this was not smooth sailing this morning. So here's to tomorrow. Cheers. Have a good rest of your day.